There's not a lot of evidence right now. And with regards to negotiations for any country or any jurisdiction to have a tariff-free agreement.
Hi, it's John, and welcome to the channel. Wednesday, July the 16th, 5:03 a.m. with the big blue mug of coffee. I hope you're having an awesome day today. I certainly am. I don't normally start my videos with a clip, but I just had to today. Mark Carney addressing his media, and I say it's his media because they worship at the feet the man stands on, suggesting that, well, Canada really can't make a deal with the United States, and we're going to have tariffs. Here's an article right here from the Globe and Mail. Carney changes messaging, says chances are low for a tariff-free trade deal with the United States. Folks, you could have had things differently. Now, people are just going to say, how would it have been any different with Pierre Poilievre as the Prime Minister? Well, I guess we're not going to know, are we? You could have had things differently. You could have voted differently on April 28th, because this isn't the only way the wheels are falling off the Carney government. There's others. I'm going to go through a couple right now. The plan out of this tariff situation is falling apart as we speak. And Carney's only pivot will be something that plays to his base. And I'm going to get to that in just a moment. And I'm going to give you the only solution from my point of view when it comes to Canada and the way out. And the way to prosperity. I'm going to give that to you today. But Kate Harrison, she was on the CBC. I'm going to let her lay this whole thing out for you. She absolutely slays Carney and his government and the weak response he's had so far to tariffs from Donald Trump in the United States of America.
I'm getting very confused, Catherine, about where to put my elbows. They're up and they're down, and if they keep moving that way, we're going to look like a bunch of chickens. The Prime Minister has an expectation management problem. You referenced it off the top. He billed himself during the election as the guy that would get a good deal for Canada, and the reality is that our tariffs are higher today than they were on election day. We had the doubling of the steel and aluminum tariff. We now have this August 1st threat. So we don't appear to be closer to a deal than we were on election day. And that is a problem for the Prime Minister because he billed himself as the guy to get it done. So what can Canada be doing? If tariffs are the reality and other countries have them as their reality, what are we doing to systemically make investment in Canada better? So far, the proposal has been to expedite energy projects to, oh my goodness, 2 years, while other jurisdictions are moving faster than that. The U.S. is changing things like their corporate tax rate, or they're at least looking at systems to attract more business investment, and that's totally absent the tariff conversation. So we seem to be very focused on, how we might tax bourbon and ketchup a little bit more to hit back against the Americans, and not addressing some of the big challenges that exist for Canada's economy to thrive.
Wow, is she ever good? That was amazing. We have more tariffs and they're higher than when he became Prime Minister. The Prime Minister has an expectation management problem. And then she says, we're focused on how we can tax bourbon and ketchup. And I went, I seem to remember that. Oh yeah, that was Trudeau's solution as well. Remember this?
It was the fact that we put tariffs on bourbon and Harley-Davidsons and playing cards and Heinz ketchup and cherries and a number of other things.
Again, well done, Kate. I mean, I almost forgot about that. I did a video on Trudeau and the ketchup thing months ago. Probably, was it last December? It could have been. He was still Prime Minister at that point. What a joke. This is the answer to everything from the Liberal Party and Mark Carney. The people who voted for him love this. This is getting back at the United States, going after bourbon and ketchup and playing cards, as Trudeau said in that clip. But there's no solution here, folks. The solution is coming up, but it's falling apart as well. So stay tuned for that. Here's Warren Kinsella, who wanted the Liberals to win. Again, as I have queried in several opinion columns and social media posts, then what was the point of this whole exercise? Well, the point was to get the Liberals reelected, Warren. You wanted it, you got it, and you did it through fear. That's how they got elected. Fear of the United States. Hatred of Donald Trump and the United States at this point. That's where we are in this country. Now, the solution for Mark Carney, up until right now, up until this point, up until the last couple of days, has been become the greatest economy in the G7 because we're going to become an energy superpower. Uh-oh.
9 Ontario First Nations are bringing the federal and provincial governments to court, pushing back against new laws to fast-track infrastructure projects. Details of the constitutional challenge have not yet been made public, but Indigenous communities have said the new laws infringe on their rights, including the duty to consult. Ottawa recently passed Bill C-5, allowing the federal government to bypass certain existing legislation for major projects.
So the solution to the tariff issue, which has now fallen apart, was to build things. And now it doesn't look like that's going to happen either. Kate Harrison talks about 2 years to expedite projects. Other countries are doing it faster. How long is C-5 going to be held up in court? I don't know. These things, the wheels turn very slowly, folks. And I think this plays right into his plans anyway. He doesn't want to build oil pipelines, and he's given the Indigenous groups the veto. He's given the provinces the veto. He says we have to have a consensus to get these things done. Meanwhile, he and the Liberals get to decide what's in the best interest of the country. Right? Meanwhile, the Conservative Party, Poilievre addressed this the other day. They voted in favor of C-5. It was a piece of crap, but it was better than nothing. Well, Pierre, you're going to get nothing.
And what, if anything, you think Mr. Carney ought to be doing to forestall, excuse me, the potential for protests or court challenges as this bill begins to be implemented?
Thank you very much, Stephanie. Let me first say that C-5's far from a solution. It's better than nothing, but not by much.
I've been after Pierre Poilievre a little bit. People say he needs to be kinder and gentler, but he needs to point out what's going on here. I said yesterday he should have called Carney a liar, and not weasel words around that, a liar about his conflicts of interest. He should have asked him to resign. I don't think he's suitable to be the Prime Minister of the country. We never had anything like this before. He should be gone. And he's not doing what he said he would do. He should be gone. Unfortunately, we can't get into another election here, because nobody has any money and nobody wants to go through that right now, particularly not in the middle of the summertime. I'll put the video to that and a link to that video I did yesterday in the description so you can watch it. So what's the answer here? Well, I've got an answer myself. I'll give it to you at the end. There's a pivot coming on here. It already happened. Carney knew the tariff deal was falling apart. He knew this court challenge was coming, I'm sure. He's pivoting already, and it plays right into the hands of the people who vote Liberal. They love this because hate on Donald Trump, hate on the United States. That's the whole plan of the Liberal Party right now. You pivot to the EU. Ursula von der Leyen, head of the EU, July 14th, a couple days ago, prior to the tariff story coming out, I think it was yesterday. Good call with Mark Carney. That's the Prime Minister of the country, by the way. A stronger partnership. That's our response to changing trade relationships. Economic volatility and threats to our security will keep working closely together as we deliver on a new partnership. So instead of working out some kind of deal somehow with the United States of America, we're just going to accept everything and we're going to go to the EU. How long before Carney floats the idea of Canada becoming a member of the EU? Really, I mean, these are the people he can relate to. He's been living with them for years. He called himself a European. Here's the statement on the EU website. I'll put it on the screen. You can stop it and read it if you want. It's basically what von der Leyen said in her tweet. So this is the pivot. This is where we're going to go to the EU. This is the solution to all of the problems in Canada. I have the solution. First off, let me just point something out to the Liberals out there, the people who voted Liberal. You have a highly conflicted Prime Minister right now who's not suitable for the job because of his business dealings. And what he's disclosed is not enough. There's a lot more to that. I think Moose on the Loose followed this. He's been following this with great accuracy. Go watch his videos. You're getting massive deficit spending. You're seeing inflation going up. You're not seeing any resolution to the housing crisis. You're not seeing any resolution to the crime crisis. You're not going to see any resolution to the immigration crisis, and it's a huge problem there. You're getting the same government you had for 10 awful years. This is what you voted for on April 28th. That was the way out, but you didn't take it. The way out, from my standpoint, because it's an absolute dumpster fire, the country of Canada is a dumpster fire. The only way out is Alberta independence. It's the only way out. Now, I've got the document that was released right here by the Alberta Prosperity Project, The Value of Freedom. This is riches for you Albertans if you vote in favor of independence. It's the only way out. Thanks for watching. I do appreciate it. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, ring the bell for notifications. For goodness sakes, it really helps me out. You have a great Wednesday, and I'll see you in the next one.